Following on from the last video, I'm going to do a video on how to use Autodesk CFD, Computational Fluid Dynamics. It's going to show you where you can get it. So first thing, you log on to Autodesk. You need to make sure that you've got a student license. So after you've signed in, all I've done is just done a search for education license, and it's pretty much this first one. You can select onto that, and that'll take you hopefully to an area where you can download the CFD software. So click on again, waiting. It is in the education area, and if we rotate down, for all the different types of education software that you can get, it's Autodesk CFD Ultimate, so you just need to get product downloaded. After you've downloaded it, it's going to ask you to sign in, so you need to sign in. And then I've just opened up Fusion 360, and I've designed that very simple wing that I spoke about in the last video tutorial. So it's 70 by 150 at 10 degrees, and I've sort of constructed it in this direction. So you could do whatever size you want, but this is the one that I've done. So then we just go to design and we go down to simulation. And when we're in simulation, we make sure that simple geometry is selected, and we go simplify model. From there, we just go to tools, and there's your CFD. If you haven't run it first, it won't be there, so you need to install it first. So just select on that, and it will ask you to have a study name and a study path. And all I've done here is created a, where are we? I've just created a desktop CFD, where I've got a bunch of stuff happening there. I've done a few of these before, and after I've done that, I've gone open, I won't do it, and launch. And what it's actually done for me is launched it like so. It's my wing, it's in Computational Fluid Dynamics. We have a study bar, which we're going to be using, and a bunch of tools up the top. So let me take you straight into it. I'm going to select on the geometry tool, and then we're going to go to the X volume, extension volume, and this is going to be for the wind tunnel. So you can see that we've got that pink sort of box around our wing. We're going to be changing that around. So we're coming over to the view cube. We're going to increase. I'm just pressing on the front, and then I'm going to the blue arrows, and I'm just going to drag those out a little bit. And I'm also going to bring this up on top and down underneath. So it's around that size. That's pretty loose, but it'll make more sense as we go. I'm just going to rotate around. We've got our wing there, and I need plenty of space at the back. I don't need as much up the front for this to happen. And as the wind goes through the tunnel, it'll do a whole bunch of stuff here that we can assess and look at. I'm just going from the top view. Looks like I've got plenty there. I'm just going to extend it a little bit here and here. All right, so if you're going to do this over and over and over again, my suggestion is that you come over here to these offsets and sort of change them to whole numbers. So let's see what happens if I change this to minus 0.5. Let's see. Still good. I'm going to change this one to 8 because it's pretty close to 8. I'm going to change this one to 2. I'm going to change this one to 23, and this one to 30, and I'm going to change this to 10. All right, now I'm going to record all those, because if I'm going to do this over and over again, I'm not going to drag this all around like I did before. I'm just going to punch in these numbers, and it's going to give me what I want. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to create that, and away I go. All right, so I'm going to shut that down now, and I'm going to come over here to scenario 1. I've got my materials, and I've got 2 unassigned materials. First one is the volume box here. So I'm going to edit that. And it's set to air, which is great. That's exactly what we want. And I want to apply that. Is come down here and select, right click on this and go edit. We should have a thing here which is outline. Yep. So create volume outline so that we can see our wing. So it's now saying that the air is not, it's not unassigned, so it's now assigned as air. We go back to the unassigned materials, and this is going to be the wing. And so I'm going to right click and go edit. Coming down to fluid, I want to make that a solid, and I'm just choosing aluminium, which is fine. It's a solid material. And then I'm just going to apply that to the object. All right. Okay, now what we're going to do is select boundary conditions, and we're going to be selecting on the front surface here, going back to edit. We're going to set this velocity to 5. I know that we can only really get about 3.3 sort of type of speed out of it, but this is where the wind is going to come from, or the velocity, and we're just going to apply it. Then what I'm going to do is rotate this around and select on the back and edit once again. I'm going to change this to pressure and make sure my pressure is 0, and I'm going to apply that. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is press my home button again, sort of zoom it back into position, and I'm just going to press solve. So let's see what happens. Okay, we're just going to select OK for that, and we're going to press solve. So as this starts to solve, it will take a little while. And what we have on the screen in front of us is the computational fluid dynamics algorithm starting to take place. Okay, so it's finished. And now what I'm going to do is just select on the outside here and go back to outline so we can see what's going on. And we just want to add a plane in here so we can get a bit of a visual of what's happening with the air. So we're going to select plane. We're just going to go add. So if we rotate that to the side, you can see it's looking pretty cool. The green air shows the slowing down of the air pressure. The blue is extremely slow, and you can actually see that the velocity magnitude increases up with the red, so it goes faster. So it's very interesting things happening here. If you wanted to, you could just take a picture of that, like a screenshot, and put it into your assessment. The other thing that we're going to do is to rotate this plane. All right, so we select on the plane, and then we select onto this little control here. And we're going to select on rotational axes. And we want to go, the z-axis, want to give that a 1, want to give y0 and x0, and then OK. And in here now we can just select 90 and select anywhere, should be even here, and it will rotate. We're just going to get on the blue arrow here and sort of drag it forward. It's gone too far. Oh, here we go, back on the arrow, move it back here, there we go. All right, so after we've done that, we can just shut that down, and we're going to add some traces. So I'm select on traces now, and the seed destiny is the distance between them. So I'm going to try to do a 4 in regards to mine, and then I'm just going to add. Then I'm going to go to the front view to bring it around the front. So I'm just going to select and select again. I want that to be nice and straight. So I'm going to get it as straight as I can. Select, and then I'm going to bring them up like so. So now if I rotate those around, you can see what's happening there. So you can actually see what's happening from the side now if you want to use traces, and the green's slowing it down. So a couple of things I can do just to get rid of this plane is I come over to results and planes, and I can just unselect that plane. so I can see things a bit better. I can also select onto, I can't, if I go back to traces, I should be able to select on those traces, right click, and then I can select the y-axis velocity. So it'll give me the velocity here and how that slows down as it's going to green and faster for red, so we can see what's happening. Okay, what we're going to be doing now is calculating the downforce for this particular wing. So we go to wall calculator for that. We're going to select on force, and we want to change this to newtons. After we've done that, we just need to select all the faces to be included. And so we're just going to go around the whole thing. And as you select the faces, they should turn red. Boom. This one on this side. Boom. And they're sometimes a little bit tricky to get. These faces. There we go. So you need the whole box to be red. You need to select all the surfaces. And then all you need to do is press calculate. And all you need to do is scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you will see the downforce created in the total area of downforce. And you can use that data again and again and again. So that's how you would do the computational fluid dynamics in Autodesk.